Hello everybody and welcome to the Adventures of Drawing. I'll draw a scene for you using a variety of pencils, a smudging tool and an eraser. So, without further ado, let's go right into this. Okay, let's start with a couple of mountains in the distance right here, just above halfway, or maybe that's just halfway in our scene. Okay, and then there's going to be a cloud above those mountains. And I did not give the sky a value today, so I'm going to give this cloud an outline, and there we go. And then I'll shade the lower part, as I always do, with very flat curves. And so the light comes from the right, and therefore we're going to have shadows on the left side, right here. Maybe there are some volumes inside like this. Just some C-shapes on the side, the left side of each volume right here, and to the bottom. Down here, right there, and in here, and then let's go and give it a couple more small volumes to make it a bit more interesting. Okay, one more cloud, maybe right here, and let's have some smaller bits on the side, and then there are some larger volumes in here, maybe like this. And then we do the same thing. Shadow at the bottom, and then shadows on the left side. Right here, something down there, up here and in here. This strange looking fella up there, and then a little bit on the right side. Okay, next I'll go in with the smudging tool and fluff those clouds up, create a transition between the bottom plane and the side plane, and then soften up those lines in here, pull them a little bit into the light area to make those transitions smoother. And the same thing for this little fella over here. And just like that, we've got ourselves a couple of clouds. Okay, let's add another layer to our mountains in the background right here. Something coming up right there and then down here. And okay, now I'll indicate a couple of shadow areas all the areas that are inclined to the left are shadow areas, and I'm not giving them very intricate shapes right now. Maybe a little bit like this right there. But overall, I just want a little background in here, and I want to focus on something else right now. So I'm not giving this too much attention, not putting in too many details in the volumes of these mountains right here. What have we got going on there? Maybe something like so. A couple of different shapes, but mainly I'll use the usual triangle in here. We've got another inclination right there, and then maybe something going down right here, and then all this is going to end in some hills that are back here at the base of those mountains, and I'll just indicate those with some very light curvy lines. Okay, next thing, I'll just give the shadow areas of the mountains a shadow value. Since they're very far away, something in here maybe. Since they are very far away, I'll just use the HB pencil. Since it's very misty and the atmosphere dulls down a lot of the values and contrasts. So we don't have many dark values down there, not many dark layers or anything, just some mid values that are going on in the distance. Okay, just some general mountain shapes back there. Then maybe I'll make those hills a little darker, a little bit more visible. I was going to make them a little smoother with the smudging tool, but since I'm not using a lot of transitions in the mountains, I'm not going to go in here and do a lot of transitions. So that's going to be that. And then maybe we've got something in the foreground right here. Yeah, why not? Why not just go with that? And then something in here and another layer down here, like so. And let's have another one right there, maybe like this. Okay, so in this mid-ground down here, we're going to have a couple of trees. And I'm just going to fill this entire area in the middle right here up with those chained together M shapes, M lines. Since the midground is also not what I want to really focus on right now. Okay, something in here. Maybe a little larger down here, those trees. Okay, coming in right there from the side. A couple in here. And that's it already. Okay, now I'll go in from the back to the front in the foreground as well. And that's where I want to have my focus on today. I want to try and have some intricate layers of grass right here, since I think when I draw those lines of grass, often it looks very empty down there. And so I want to place a lot of layers together right here. So I'm going to make the upper edge right here a little darker and go down to the next layer where I'll go really light, like so. Same thing right here. I mean, it's not really dark, it's just another mid value right here. I'm right now thinking about whether I should go in with the 3B pencil in there, but I'm not sure yet. Maybe I should, just to give the foreground, the focus of this drawing, some more significance and make it stand out more. Give it a contrast to the rest of the drawing. So I think I'm going to do that once I'm done filling all this in. And I maybe should have stuck to the very back layer of the foreground and not done everything at once. But I get carried away as always. So yeah, I just did that right now. Also, I have a mindset of once I'm doing one step, I can do it for the whole drawing. And that often distracts me from finishing one layer after the other. But right now, right here, I just go in a little bit with the 3B pencil and then I'll try and finish this layer right here. So we want a lot of grass to grow there. And back here, the blades of grass appear really tiny. So now begins the tedious process of the drawing right here. Just going in, drawing a lot of blades of grass. And almost the entire rest of this is just going to be this. I'll try my best and talk over it to make it interesting and make something more going on than just me making very small lines. Let's see how I do with that. So I've got this right here, and we're almost done. Going over there to this next layer, and I'll stop here. And now I'll draw in a couple more layers, just indicating those with lines that I'm making. Right here, one going in there, and those are going to be the popping up elevations in the terrain, where against the next layer we can see some more blades of grass. So top of each line I'll draw in more blades of grass. Still the very, very short type. I'm constantly turning my pencil to find a very fine part of the lead to make very fine lines right here. And also just very short lines going down here to this small elevation right there. Okay, against the darker upper part you can't see those blades of grass too well, but down here you can see them better against the brighter part of the ground. Maybe I'll put in another layer right here that merges with the other one, or it merges with those two. Like this right here. Okay, maybe there's going to be an empty spot right there, I'm not sure yet, but I'll try and fill it up if that should be the case. Right now I'm going to the next level, just making the edge up here a little darker. Just the very upper part right there. Like so. And then I draw in more lines of elevations. And that right here is going to be a really large area to fill. Let's see how I'm going to do right here. I'm going to place those lines rather close together so we have a really close web of lines of grass in here. Some down here. Let's have one go in here, a couple maybe, so that that area isn't going to be too blank. There's a very long line right here, and this one bifurcates down there, and get one down here. Maybe this goes in there and then goes down here. And we've got one coming in here, going behind the first layer, and then maybe there's another one coming in from the side right here. Okay, and now it's just the same thing of drawing blades of grass, and right here in the next layer of the foreground I'll make them a little bit larger than in the very last layer of the foreground. Trying to go a little bit less than twice as large. Now this is one layer right here. You can still see a lot of gaps between the blades of grass, but I'll go along this line again, and by doing so, fill those gaps up so this line looks fuller. Going all the way up again, filling up those gaps. Okay, that should be it for this one. Let's have this join with the edge right here as well. And then go in there like this, in here like that. This one doesn't quite go all the way to the edge, so it stops right in front of it. Then this next one down here. Going back and forth to fill in the gaps. You can do this whichever way you want. Go across the entire line once, and then go back, or go back and forth in segments. It really doesn't matter right here. Okay, I have to concentrate on making those blades of grass roughly the same height. Right here, let's have something come in, split up right there and go into the edge. Since, as I said, I want there to be a really full meadow in here, and try and create the illusion of a lot of grass growing here. The entire ground being covered in grass. Right there. In here. This one. And going over to this one, maybe having it a little bit loose at the edge, and then making it really full along the rest of the line. right here, and then going down here. Yep, that's a large area, and that's the reason why I mostly don't make too many layers or lines of grass, because it takes so much time, and I think it's boring for you to watch. But on the other hand, I want the scene to look as pretty as possible, as superficial as that might seem from an artist's perspective. As many people say, we don't create art for it to look beautiful, that's just kitsch. But for trying to learn how to draw and how to paint, you have to learn to draw the things you see and draw things that are in reality before you make any types of abstractions from them. So that's what we do. We practice in here and try to make it look realistic. We're not going for hyper-realism, of course, but just trying to display and understand the world around us, to equip us with the tools and the skill to represent it in our artwork. Okay, almost done with this layer right here. I'll try and go a little bit bigger with the blades of grass to make a transition from the very last part of the foreground to the part that's right in front of us. So there's a transition from the blades of grass appearing very tiny to them appearing taller right in front of us. Okay, going in here and then down here. And right now I don't necessarily have to find the finest part of the pencil lead, since those blades of grass are not only taller, or appear not only taller, but also wider than the ones in the back. Okay, right here. And now the next layer, this is this one to the left. And for this, I'm going to erase the mountains behind this part right here. And I don't want all of this to be grass. I want there to be a little bit of a rocky area right here. So I'll go straight in. Maybe not. Maybe I will go in with the HB pencil first and create some sharp edges right here. Maybe that looks too, I don't know, organic. I want it to be more like stone. Okay, so the right part, I'm using the HB pencil so that it looks like a brighter area, a brighter edge of those rocks right here. And then a little bit to the left right there, I use the 3B pencil, since right here we're more in sort of a shadow area. And I also crosshatch a couple of areas right here, so maybe this is a top part of a rock that's going to remain very light and blank. Go in here maybe a little bit, and we've got something in here, something right there, and this is going to be darker as well. So I leave the right area blank, since that's where the sunshine comes in, and the rest is going to be a little darker. And I don't have a good transition from the dark areas to the light areas. They look very much separated. Maybe I'll go in a little bit more with some details there. Maybe like this. It's not perfect, but it's a little bit more of a transition from the darker areas, the shadows, to the lights. Okay, now I'm going down here and I have to still give this part a value with the HB pencil. And right now, yeah, I'll give the right area that is normally a very bright area, but I give this a darker value, just as the upper areas right here and right there, to set them apart, set those layers apart from each other. And this is not a part of the drawing that's going to give it a lot of realism, since, as I just said, this right area would be a bright one where the sunlight strikes it. But from a compositional point of view, I'll do this and make this area right here darker. So you see, right there from this point to this point, it sets those layers apart a little bit. Now I'll do what I did to the other layers and go in with the 3B pencil. Maybe we've got one more rock poking out right here. Make this a little bit lighter right there, and then go in with the shadows right here. Make it poke out a little bit more, maybe like this. Okay, but then I'll go in and make this edge right here just a little darker. Going in right here like so. Maybe like that. And then I draw in those layers where the grass is going to grow. Like this, and right here, one coming up right there, one coming in here, another one in here. And I'll just finish this entire lower area, I guess. Maybe this one goes a little bit up. There's one right down here. One goes down here. Something down here. And this one splits up, goes right there. And just a couple more in here, like so. This one just above the other one, and then this one coming in right here. And maybe one right there, like so. Okay, hopefully that's going to be enough to make it look full. Now, once again, I'll go along the edge, and right here, I make the blades of grass even larger than in this section that I just drew before. There we go. All the way in here, going over there. Up here. This one right there. Looking at it now, I still think those individual lines of grass look rather flat. Like, you can see the volume of the ground, but the lines of grass still look like very flat lines, just going left to right. Let's see what it's like at the end, but just a little something that my eye catches right now. but we're going to see what it's like in the end. Going over here, outside of the frame, once more. As you know, we go outside of the frame to make it look like our scene continues in a real landscape. Connect things to the edge of your drawing and your painting to make it look like a real scene. Make it look like things come from the outside or go to the outside. So the landscape or the scene, whatever you're drawing or painting, continues outside of the scene that you selected. Okay, I'm approaching the lower frame, the lower border of the frame, so I make those blades of grass taller once more. Right here, like so. Over here, this one merging with the other one. And one of those lines is already the lower part of the scene, where I had a little bend in my lower edge of the scene. So I'll make that straight a little bit and continue over here, going down all the way, and then here we can see the tips of the blades right there, and I've got this other layer coming out right here. Okay, so that's this layer down here. Maybe I put something more down there in the end, but for now that's done. Now all that's left is the last layer right here, and maybe I'll just make this one join with it right here, like this, and then give this edge right here a little bit of a darker value again. Okay, just put in a couple more layers right here, really close together, going out right here, in right there, and one more right here, maybe like so. Or let's have one more going out of the frame right here, and one more right here, so it's not too empty down there. Okay, and then maybe we'll have those blades of grass come in right here. Maybe that's going to fill this bottom part enough so that it's not empty right there. Okay, now I go along the top all the way right here. Going across again. Make that look as full as possible. We need some more right here, I think. Like this. And going down here. Okay. Over here. Going in right there. Make it look a little fuller. At the bottom, I just go across like this. Let's go here next. I feel myself growing a little bit impatient with this. Luckily, it's almost done. Going across right there. Then down here. Okay. Like so. Second to last line right here. Almost done now. Just get those blades of grass in right there. And over here. They can come in from down below and then grow over here. All right. Yeah, that does look a little more full than usually, but I think I'm not too convinced yet. So the last little touch I'm going to give this is just go in with those zigzag lines that I normally also include for random detail in the ground to fill in those gaps and make it look like there's something there also. Like here, maybe I'll use the HB pencil for the last layer in the back of the foreground, just so that I don't overdo it. Because right now, if I add too much, the, the individual blades won't stick out anymore. And that would be a shame now that I spent so much time drawing all those. Okay, going in there. Just a little bit of detail in there. Right here, like so. Okay, maybe that's it. All right, there we've got our scene for today. Let's clean up those edges a little bit. Going along here. And along here. Trying to find the distance. Maybe like this. Yeah, I think that's pretty neat. And then going across down here. Maybe like this. Yep. Okay. Let me knock off those bits of eraser right here. Wipe them off. Okay. And there you have it. Thank you for tuning in today. Thanks for watching. I hope you got something out of it. Maybe the motivation or inspiration to be creative yourself or to get some other type of work done. Just using this as ASMR in the background. That's totally fine by me. If you find yourself coming back to the channel, please consider subscribing, giving the video a like, and drop down in the comments. Tell me what you think about what I'm doing here. Maybe if you've got some critique or some tips for me. I'm happy to read it. So don't be shy. Okay. Just finishing this up right here. Getting a nice little tree in here in the signature for once, I think. Okay, now with all this said and done, thanks again for being here, and I see you in the next one. Bye bye.